I used to think that I was being very honest with my struggles, but I realized something, and that was I wasn't truly being honest with myself. I was being struck in a victim mode. Let's get into today's video. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to a place where faith meets reality and Jesus is always at the center. If you guys are new to my channel, hello guys. My name is Kia Naomi. Here I share real life testimonies, godly wisdom, and encouragement to help you grow in truth and with grace. So, if you're here for the real talk, purposeful living, and of course, Jesus Christ Himself, then you are in the right place. You're right where you belong. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about self-victimization versus holding accountability. A lot of us, myself included, have fallen into that trap where we thought we were being real and honest, but the truth is we were self-victimizing ourselves. So I'm going to go straight into the point, and I'm going to be talking about self-victimization and how it sounds. Self-victimization sounds like,
this always happens to me. Why does this always happen to me? People never treat me right. Why do certain situations happen in my life? Why do I attract certain drama? What is wrong with me? Why me?
At first, it sounds valid. It sounds reasonable because the pain is real. Now, here's the thing. This is where it becomes dangerous. Self-victimization keeps you in a story, whereas holding yourself accountable helps you change that story. So what are the difference between self-victimization and accountability? Self-victimization says, this is happening to me way too often. What is wrong with me? Why does this keep happening to me? Why me? Why always me? That's self-victimization. This always happens to me, so I can't change it. Accountability, on the other hand, says, this has happened, but what can I do next? I'm going to give you a verse for today's video, and that is Galatians chapter 6 verse 5, and it says, each one should carry their own load, not in isolation but in responsibility. The truth of the matter when it comes to this is that when you stay in a victim mode, when you stay in this little bubble, because when you are in a victim mode, you are basically in a bubble for too long, especially, you give away your power. You stop growing, you stop learning, and you repeat the same cycle over and over and over again. Let me tell you guys a quick story. I didn't know I was on a victim mode until I want to say maybe recently. Not that long ago, but maybe a while back. I thought to myself, why does certain situations keep happening to me? Let's say, for example, drama. I would like to consider myself a very peaceful, calm, I kind of stick to myself kind of thing. I don't like to be in open spaces for too long, I guess I'd call it an introvert, if I can put it that way, right? I like my peace. I like to be in my peaceful mode, right? And when that peace gets compromised, then I get a bit irate. This is the thing that I've noticed. I would have people, come into my life, whether long term or briefly, where I noticed they were very involved in drama, very involved. Their ways of thinking, the ways of what they do is kind of toxic, right? And some way, somehow, I would find myself in these drama, even if it doesn't necessarily involve me per se, but somehow I'm in it and I'm like, why me? Why do I keep attracting these situations? Why is it that people tend to open up to me so easily when it comes to certain drama with certain individuals, maybe someone at work, someone in their life, right? They are so, it's like, I felt like I felt that I was almost releasing this energy, if I can put it that way, where people would just be so open and just drawn to me that they could just share whatever they want to share with me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I just come across as someone who, is willing to listen, all that stuff. This girl, right, was talking to me, ranting to me about how certain people at our workplace pissed her off, and this person ain't doing their job properly, that person ain't doing the job properly, this and that and the third, right? And I really was like, obviously, I was there, I was listening to her, and I was obviously I didn't shut the conversation down because I wanted to be that friend. Little did we know that there was actually someone listening to the conversation the entire time. Now, keep in mind, I was really the one that was just like, oh, really? What happened? Like, oh my God, this happened. Oh, that's not nice. That's not. But this girl, she was just ranting. I guess she was just so frustrated in a moment. She just wanted to rant it all out to me. Keeping in mind, there was a newcomer that had just joined the team. You're ranting about work. You're ranting about this manager. You're ranting about that manager. Obviously, the person is going to feel like, if you could rant about newcomers, what's to say that you can't do the same to me? A report came to the hotel manager. The hotel manager was a bit pissed off, but was more pissed off at the girl than at me because she was the one running her mouth. Whoever reported her obviously mentioned my name, said that I was there having this conversation, but said the girl was the one really doing the talking and talking negatively about people. Obviously, I was there, but I didn't really engage in the conversation from what this person said. When I found out about it, this girl calls me, oh, did you report me? Did you speak to the hotel manager? I was like, no, I was sleeping. Keep in mind, at the time I was working night shift. So I was like, no, I was sleeping. Why? What happened? And she explained the whole situation to me. And because, again, like I said, empath is it can be both a blessing and a curse. Because she was getting irate on the phone, I'm getting irate now. And I was just like, oh my God, I was so upset. And low key kind of like victimizing myself in a sense. So I was just like, I'm just trying to be there for people, and you've got other people reporting us to yada yada yada. And I was a bit emotional, okay? Not emotional like tears emotional, but I was a bit, I was a bit annoyed. I was like, I removed myself from the group chat, from the work group chat, because I was just so pissed off that I can't. And this was like towards the end of me leaving that workplace. So a lot had been building up towards like the end of my chapter in that workplace. But I was just like low key victimizing myself, like almost saying like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? Why is it that every time I try to be accommodating to people and people want to share their problems with me, people want to do this and that and the third, right? Why is it some way, somehow, whatever drama that happens, I just happen to be involved in it? And I'm thinking, what is wrong with me? Like, why me, right? Little did I know what I was doing is victimizing myself. Didn't even hold myself accountable. Yeah. I was victim blaming, right? I was victimizing myself. Like,
it's always happened to me. I'm just trying to live a peaceful life. I'm just trying to live in peace. I'm just trying to do my thing. But drama always finds its way. And I'm like, bruh.
I've been through so many dramas in my life, right? Where now I look back and I'm like, there are certain things that I've been involved in that could have been avoided had I put my stand and just said no. Or have I just been like, you know what, this isn't working? Or have I been like, you know what, we need to cut all contacts, or conversations that shouldn't have been had, that shouldn't been had, if I put it that way. People talking about this person, people talk about this situation, people talk about that situation. And I'm not saying that, oh, you can't talk about these things, but I feel like there has to be, there's a time and a place for everything. You can talk to me about certain situation. If you want me to be the type to listen, I will listen. If you want me to be the type to give you an advice, I will give an advice. Even if you don't like it, I will give it to you. That's just how I am, right? And I've always been that person, even till this day. So I was just like, I'm always trying to be accommodated to people, but people they just take it too far. And I think for me, the problem was, and this is when I really started holding myself accountable, when I look back, because this was an ongoing pattern. This is pattern from years back, was when things would happen in my life, situations that somehow, some way, somehow I would just find myself in, um, relationships that didn't serve me purpose, that I should have just ended it right there and then. When in all honesty, I wasn't really holding myself accountable. I really didn't sit back and reflect on why does this keep happening, and especially prior to even me being a born again, this, I felt like it was an ongoing pattern. It wasn't as much now after being a born again, but I feel like there's still certain habits that you kind of have to unlearn. And I've obviously had to realize that very later on. I mean, it's never too late, right? It's never too late, and we're always learning every day, right? So I started to hold myself accountable when I really sat back recently, especially with this current job. Again, certain issues that happen, and it was just getting me stressed out. It was affecting my work, it was affecting my personal life as well. And I was like, I just cannot do this anymore. Like, this has got to stop. And I really sat back and had to reevaluate every single thing. And I had to really think to myself, why does this pattern keep happening every single time? On top of that, it helps actually to have a friend or just anyone very close to you that can also hold you accountable. It might not be the nicest thing to hear. You might feel a bit salty about it. You might get defensive. But when it comes from a place of care and love, it's definitely worth listening to. And it took one person to hold me accountable, but really told me, you really need to stop giving people access into your life or allowing people to overstep your boundaries. The issue is the fact that you keep letting people in too quick, and you are too accommodating. Not to say there's anything wrong with being accommodated towards other people, but you need to learn when to take a step back, at some boundaries as well. When this person told me this, I really thought to myself, and I was a bit upset about it. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not the problem. Again, self-victimization. I'm not the problem. It's not my fault that people want to come to me and vent about their frustration to me. It's not my fault. But then he was like, okay, I get that. But don't you see that certain things that they do or say, their behaviors, their actions also affects you? And I'm just like, And this person said to me, this is not the first time it's happened. I've seen this happen before. And it's an ongoing pattern with you. And this is something you're gonna have to stop. You're gonna have to make some changes, otherwise it's just gonna keep happening. That was the first time really someone had to look at me dead in the eyes and be like, you have issues with this and this and this. You need to fix it, you need to change, and you need to grow from it. You need to learn from it, and you need to grow from it. Accountability doesn't deny the pain, it just refuses to stay stuck in it. So I went from being like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep attracting drama or just problematic people in my life, this and that and the third? And I've shifted now to, well, this has happened. What am I going to do differently from now on? I've acknowledged that I played part in this, even if it wasn't my intention, but I did it anyways. What am I going to do differently? That's the difference between accountability and self-victimization. My life is always messy. Nothing works out for me. I've always said this, like, oh, my life is like, nothing's working out. Why is nothing working out? So this is the key message to you guys, and that is, you are not what happened to you. You are responsible for what happens next. It's like, let's say something does happen in your life, something traumatic or something that hurt you, right? It happened. Are you going to sit there and victim blame as long as you live and say, oh, this happened to me? Why does this always keep happening to me? Why do I keep attracting wrong type of relationship? Why do I keep falling into drama? Why do I keep attracting toxic people? Why do I keep getting into fight? Rather than always putting yourself in that bubble of victim blaming yourself, right? Or victimizing yourself. You now have to change it to, okay, that is becoming a problem. Maybe it's a certain things that you do, how you react, how you behave. It kind of causes certain issues to happen in your life. So let's say, for example, you are someone that's quite hot-headed, you easily get angry, you easily get tempered, right? And maybe you've just made a friend. You've just made a friend. You guys were very close. You guys call each other besties and all that stuff, right? You have a history of getting into altercations, getting into fights with certain girls, or past friendships, or just girls that you've encountered in your life. You meet this girl, you guys become friends. Something happens. Let's say you have a disagreement and the disagreement kind of went too far. Maybe the girl disrespected you and said some things that was offensive to you, right? Rather than just being like, okay, do you know what? I'm going to take a step back from this. I refuse to have this conversation with you right now. It's getting heated. When you're ready, then we can talk, right? Rather than that, you get to the point where you just keep allowing your emotions to build up, to build up, to build up, to the point where it gets verbal. You guys start exchanging words, and then lo and behold, there's a fight breaking out in the streets. But yeah, imagine that, right? Again, you victim blame yourself. Oh, why did this happen? Why do I always get into fights? Why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep getting into fights? Yada yada yada. Rather than really looking back and thinking, okay, I see where things kind of went left. I could have just walked away and then just been like, when you're ready, then we can talk. I could have tried to diffuse the situation. I could have just said, look, let's just agree to disagree and call it a day. But I let my emotions get the best of me. I got a bit irate, and then I got into a physical fight. That's you holding yourself accountable. Now, the next part of holding yourself accountable is being like, okay, what do I need to do to change that so that doesn't happen again? That's how you end the cycle. You won't end it if you don't hold yourself accountable. This is my word of encouragement, guys. This isn't to blame you or to condemn you. I'm not here to do that, because we are all flawed and no one is perfect. We are all sinners in the eyes of God. So don't think I'm here condemning you guys. I'm just sharing you guys how we can go about things differently, right? Rather than victimizing yourself, we need to get to the point, we need to hold ourselves accountable and acknowledge that we might not always be right. So this isn't about blame, it's about freedom, because accountability is where your power comes back. Be honest, have you ever caught yourself in a victim mode? And if you have, leave a comment down below and let me know your take, your experiences on this. I would love to hear you out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please do give this video a thumbs up, share, comment, and subscribe. Keep walking in faith, stay reading the word of God. So please do read the Bible. And remember, your life, your story is still being written by the author of life. Take care, stay blessed. And remember one thing, guys, Jesus really and truly loves you. Don't keep him waiting. And I'll see you guys in my next video.